Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today, we are joined by Lee Crue, President and CEO of Northern Kentucky Triad. He's got some great information to share with us about Triad's 2021 economic development results and their recently updated target industry study. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, Crue Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsors, Horan and Heartland Bank. Before we get to that conversation with Lee, I want to tell you guys about two exciting events we have coming in March. First off is Intentionally Building Diverse Connections, an event that welcomes businesses of all sizes and sectors to meet in a structured environment geared towards creating diverse business relationships. That event will take place from 4 to 6:30 p.m. Thursday, March 3rd at the Hilton Cincinnati Airport. Attendees can expect to meet representatives from a variety of backgrounds, businesses, and communities all in one location. The event will be structured to ensure that all attendees have the opportunity to make meaningful business-to-business connections. Next up is the 4th Annual Employers Best Practices Symposium, being first in the business of people. That will be on Wednesday, March 9th, starting at 8 a.m. at the Kenton County Public Library in Erlanger. In this symposium, local leaders and regional experts will share how they have changed policies and mindsets, resulting in improved employee retention and increased profitability. The keynote talk and breakout sessions will provide actionable items that can help build credibility, trust, and value between employers, employees, and the community at large. If you want to learn more or you're interested in registering for either of those events, you can find more information and do so at nkychamber.com/events. Now let's meet our members of the week and talk to Lee.
CVG Airport is the lowest fare airport in the tri-state region with 54 nonstop flights and direct international service to 7 destinations, including Paris, France, and now home to both DHL's and Amazon's global cargo hubs. The airport is furthering its position as leader in aviation and is deeply committed to being an economic driver for the community. You can learn more and start your next adventure at cvgairport.com.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. Crue gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, Crue generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can Crue do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Deadlow Brewing is a craft brewery with a proper kitchen and outdoor beer garden in the California neighborhood of Cincinnati. Huff Realty is a local real estate company offering complete real estate services across Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and southeastern Indiana. BM2 Freight Services, Inc. is a full-service transportation solutions provider with a network of trusted carriers all over the 48 states and Canada. RIW Ornamental Metal specializes in stainless steel, bronze, aluminum, black oxide steel, glass, and cable railing systems with a reputation for quality craftsmanship and reliable install services. Merrill offers wealth management with a focus on families, individuals, and business owners. They work with clients to help them pursue their goals. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I am joined today by Lee Crue, President and CEO of our friends over at Triad. Lee, thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
So you guys just recently released a couple of reports, some really cool studies talking about Northern Kentucky. Let's touch on first the 2021 annual report. That's kind of a big deal. It's got a lot of information about Northern Kentucky and what you guys have been up to.
Yeah, so it's an exciting time in Northern Kentucky and our metro. I think the results that we reported really reflect that. So just hit some of the numbers very high level. We completed 27 new economic development projects last year. Average wage on those projects was over $54,000, which is a nice sustainable wage. You know, you can raise a family on that wage in Northern Kentucky. A total of 1,851 new jobs for the community, and total investment by those companies of nearly $250 million, $255 million to be exact. So we're really excited. We think it talks about, as we move into this year, the vibrancy and business prospects for our community.
Yeah, that's incredible knowing that you guys are involved in so much, obviously bringing more businesses to Northern Kentucky, having our existing businesses expand. When you think about the report, I know you guys said you had set a number of goals and you guys exceeded those goals. Of those, what was the most exciting thing for you to kind of go above and beyond what you had planned to do?
Yeah. Well, the job number is the one that people always get most excited about, and the reason I say that is because jobs really equate to people, moms and dads and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles getting up and going to work. So we always love to overachieve on that job number. Second, of course, to that is the wage number. We want to make sure when they do go to work that it's good and it's fulfilling work for them and their families.
Yeah, and then the other thing that you guys released recently was the target industry study. I know those things kind of go hand in hand because you're looking at the growth in each of those sectors. So from that study, what are some of the things that you guys have seen in those industries? Which ones are growing and what do you expect to see in the future?
Yeah. So a target industry study, what that does is it tells us what are the current strengths of the economy, or what really underpins the economy for Northern Kentucky? What can we expect to grow in the near future? What might we even think is a risk? A lot of really good news in that report for Northern Kentucky and the Cincinnati Metro. When we look at it broadly, things such as transportation and logistics, of course, we all live that every day. We know that's very strong. Advanced manufacturing, life sciences, and information technology at the highest level are going to be very strong sectors for us as we look to the near future. What that study does, though, a lot of people could probably guess those sectors are very strong for our economy. That study really allows us to drill down into what are the subsector pieces of the economy, of each one of those parts of the economy, and understand where are our strengths, where can we play. We probably all know that automotive components and supply chain has been very strong for Northern Kentucky traditionally, but as the world shifts towards EVs, what will that impact be? We've been very strong in manufacturing around aerospace. As the aerospace and airline industry continues to change, what will those impacts be? So this study helps us understand that. What's really important too is understanding the nexus points of where different parts of the economy comes together. So where does transportation and logistics overlap information technology? How can we use that to help grow our economy? Where does transportation and logistics overlap manufacturing, and how can we continue to help grow that piece of our economy?
Yeah, and you guys have done so much work in the past, knowing that you're going to keep working on that in the future. As you look at this report, you said it shows those kind of like subsets of those industries. What are some of the ones that you kind of touched on this already, that you guys are really trying to sink into? Are there any of those ones that you're really trying to focus on, or is it you want all of those to kind of grow?
Well, look, selfishly, we want all of those to
right,
grow.
of course.
And I think at the highest level, those four that I talked about have really good opportunities for our community. We don't do reports like this for an aspirational basis. The dream scenario of what we could bring to the community is really based on what assets do we have and how can we leverage the existing assets. So when we talk about life sciences, we think about, we have a CTI headquartered in Covington. We know firms like that want to grow. We understand the areas in which they will grow. How can we use them as the basis of an ecosystem? Same thing for, as I talked about, those nexus points around transportation and logistics. We have a CVG, we have airline operations here with like an Atlas. How can we then help grow and really kind of expand off of those to be successful? And I think you see that in all of those industries. The bottom line is really good news for our community. And an interesting fact that we learned through this is Northern Kentucky is really the growth engine for the entire Commonwealth and one of the leading growth industries for our metropolitan area here. In the 5 years prior to COVID starting in 2020, the entire state of Kentucky lost about 40,000 jobs, which is unfortunate. Northern Kentucky gained over 11,000 jobs in that period of time. So we really do think this demonstrates for us not only that we can be, but how we go about continue being that growth engine for the state and for our metro area here.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Northern Kentucky is just this booming metro. It's kind of funny when you think about it because we're all segmented, different counties, different cities, and we at the Chamber and you guys at Triad work really hard to bring this community together. When you think about Northern Kentucky, why is it so good for businesses? What are those key things that really make us that leader in the state?
Yeah, so I think, you can't help replace good geography. We sit just in a great spot on the map, and a client that comes here truly has the ability to service within a day, all the way from Atlanta to Toronto, from Chicago to New York, St. Louis to Nashville are all within easy reach of a day. So you just have great geography. From an office perspective, you have the same advantage. You can sit in an office such as Fidelity does here or CTI does here, and service the entire eastern half of the United States and Canada. Obviously, we all live here, so we know the cost of living is fantastic.
Right.
It's a good place to do business. We've got low operating costs. We've got good electricity costs, good access to infrastructure. And for different clients, those come together to really create a compelling story. One of the things that we have a nice but not outstanding story, and that I think we'll need to talk about in coming years, is population growth. How do we've got a kind of a mid to high single digit population growth across our metro. Some of the metros that we compete against around the country are pushing into that double-digit territory. So if our competitive class is moving that direction, we want to make sure that we as a community are doing so as well. Good news, again, Northern Kentucky is the leader in that area. Boone County leads the Cincinnati Metro, is a leader of the Commonwealth of Kentucky in population growth, and Kenton and Campbell County has strong numbers as well.
Yeah, it's great to hear. We living here, we all know we're like, oh, all we want to do is grow. It's great to see that we're getting those results. One of the other things I want to touch on is you guys have some 2022 key initiatives. Can you touch on those a little bit?
Yeah, would be glad to. So, every community has challenges that they're undertaking. The good news for Northern Kentucky is we're undertaking what I like to think of as positive challenges that are created by growth, as opposed to communities that are dealing with subtraction or losses. And so over the last couple of years, Northern Kentucky Triad, we looked at what are things that could possibly disrupt the prosperity that we're currently experiencing in Northern Kentucky, and who is in a position to do something about those. And we really identified 4 key things that could disrupt prosperity that nobody else in the community was addressing. So Triad is going to step up and work on those. Those initiatives are, number one, we call a data-informed community. Because we sit in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, but our metropolitan area is largely centered in the state of Ohio, also shares borders with Indiana, good data is often hard to come by. And a forum for leaders, both private and public sector, to kind of vet and make decisions about that data is hard to come by. So we want to weigh in this initiative called Data Informed Community, so that our community can make good decisions as it relates to everything from population growth and diversity and education and health outcomes and infrastructure, and hopefully roll that all up into a strategy. The second thing that we're going to work on is in the workforce space. There's a lot of people that do workforce. We have a lot of workforce partners grow here with the Chamber, but we know there's kind of a last mile challenge that our big employers are seeing in workforce that we think we can help them close because we meet and work so closely with them. So we really want to try to leverage existing programs for their behalf. The third piece of the equation comes out of that target industry study we talked about, and it's called targeted business growth. And that is, where are the real strong points in the current economy and near future economy, and how do we bring those companies here and help them grow? And then the final piece of the equation is called activating the Port of Northern Kentucky. Big deal announced recently up in Columbus, that with Intel and a couple thousand jobs, that was all made possible because they had good land to put those good jobs on. The Port of Northern Kentucky is an economic development entity that will give us the ability to have good land, if everything else goes right, to put those good jobs on.
Right. Wow, that is a lot of stuff. It's going to really set us up for success in Northern Kentucky. You guys do such great work, and it's awesome to hear. When you personally are thinking about these plans in the future, like you said, near future acquisitions and growth, what are you most excited about for the region?
Yeah, it's, what am I most excited about? Internal to our company, getting these 4 initiatives launched and having them be beneficial for the community is both kind of exciting and terrifying at the same time. But that's our problem that we worry about. For the community, it really is exciting to me because we are on a growth pattern. We are in a community moving in a positive direction, and to think about what we can do over the coming years, especially as the world continues to crawl out of this COVID challenge. We have a lot of great assets. Again, starting to use our voice as the growth engine of the Commonwealth and the growth engine of our metro, and understanding the power that we have with that. We have a fantastic legislative caucus from Northern Kentucky today. How can we leverage that in Frankfort so that we can grow, and knowing that when we grow, the Commonwealth of Kentucky grows. I think that's a really fascinating enterprise, not just for Triad, but for the community as a whole.
Yeah, that's awesome. Before I let you go, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to tell our podcast guests?
Boy, I sure can't think of anything. We have just so much on. We have so much on the plate now between the target industry study and getting going into this year. We do an annual report, and then the score is right back 0-0. So you start trying to add to the 2022 tally. So no, I think between what we're working on this year, the target industry study, and the initiatives we're implementing, we have a pretty full plate.
Yeah, well, Lee, we're excited to see what you guys do in 2022. It still feels weird saying we're in 2022, but Lee, thank you again for joining us today, and we'll have you back soon.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Haran, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
So Heartland is celebrating its 110th anniversary this year. Recently, we partnered with the Kinkle family and the Fisher family in Northern Kentucky, Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties. And we have 3 offices there to serve the Northern Kentucky region. Just remember, when the economy heats up, come see us at Heartland Bank, where banking really feels good.
Come on over to Heartland, where banking feels good.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Lee. I think he shared some really great insights into the growth that we've seen in Northern Kentucky and the growth that we're going to continue to see. Thank you again to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, Crue Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsors, Haran and Heartland Bank. Don't forget to get your tickets to our 2 upcoming great events in March, the 4th Annual Employers Best Practices Symposium and Building Diverse Connections. Like I said, you can find more information on those events and register at nkychamber.com/events. Finally, if you're a member who would like to be featured on the Northern Kentucky Spotlight podcast, or if you're listening to the podcast and you're not a member and you're interested in becoming a member of the Northern Kentucky Chamber, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. You can find her contact information and our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Thanks again, guys, for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next week.